Archers, attack! Keep firing! Let none escape! Another down! Do not relent!
Come one, come all you alphas, because the alpha for Dragonflight is launched. I'm Slidewhistle.
I'm Immunization, the Sigma of Dragonflight.
And I'm Aaron, Fire Mage Extraordinaire and Horde Punching Bag. And I am a man. Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who. I'll never be a body one.
That guy is so ridiculous. That was a joke, everybody. That was a joke. That's not what we do normally, I swear.
That's a big goof and a gaff. I am still Aaron, Fire Mage Extraordinaire and Horde Punching Bag, but I do not subscribe to my man Jordy Peets. But
This is a joke.
Yeah, a proud body one over here.
We got ourselves some. Obviously, you know what we got. I didn't even say it. Everyone's crawling through this news. It's dropping so quickly. I can't keep up with it. It's so much.
Yeah, so the Dragonflight Alpha is officially here. None of us were invited. A lot of people we've seen have been invited. Mainly streamers and famous people, but there's just a lot of news that is being here with the alpha being out, and also additional data mined things being out because of the alpha being publicly available. And it's just been a constant trickle of new information all day about the upcoming expansion. So I say let's just dive right on in. What do we want to talk about first?
Yeah, so normally we wing it, but we're really winging it today. We're just gonna spitball, and I want to start. Let's start with the raid. We have a name for the raid and potential bosses in the raid. I trust Wildhead, but I don't trust him that much.
Okay, well, hit us with the name. I feel like that's pretty safe.
Yeah, true. I know nothing about this, so this is my on-pod first reaction.
Vault of the Incarnates.
Yuck. Hate it. Moving on. I'll wait to raid till the second one. I guess just Vault.
I mean, we've already had several vaults that we've delved through in our history here, so I feel like we wouldn't just call it vaults.
How about Carne Asada? Vault of the
what about Vault of the Carnies? And then every time we do that, there's like a little and like a clown honk.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all, because there are some fucking clowns in this raid. You hear that?
Whoa!
Cats are fighting.
Someone's upset.
That's Illyria and Khadgar. Ellie, she's such a drama queen. She's like, Vault of the Incarnates, and we're like,
up yours, woke owners. We'll see who cancels who.
You guys have to fight after the podcast. Okay, anyway, so there are some clowns in here. Here, I'll read Wildhead's little blurb. The first raid coming in Dragonflight, featuring 8 bosses with Razageth the Storm Eater as the final boss. While Razageth is a brand new character introduced in Dragonflight, her motives are expanded upon in the Azure Span questline. Okay, so we have a dragon as the end boss, it sounds like.
So it is a dragon, like 2 legs on the ground, wings, just standard dragon.
I'm scrolling through this enormous... So they boasted the entire dungeon journal. I see it. And... yeah, so it's not your regular dragon, it's a proto-dragon, which makes sense because a lot of the proto-dragons...
Yeah, a lot of the, whatever you said the name of this group was, are proto-dragons, because they're like, the new ones are corrupted by woke moralism. That's the last time I'll reference it.
Yeah, so this might line up with the whole theory that there's going to be a sect of dragon people that believe that they the proto dragons and proto people that believe that they should enslave humans instead of serve them or work to help them.
Mm-hmm. The primals. There you go. I remembered what they were called.
So yeah, so she uses electric and winds. Okay, what are all the dragons we fought in a raid? We fought Raffion, obviously. We fought our mortal enemy, Plague Dragon, in Emerald Nightmare. How many? Is that our only 2 dragons we face in a raid? What's the other one?
You mean our? Us?
Vexiona and Raffion?
Us 3 as people, as raiders, starting in WoD. But we've never faced an endgame dragon, right? There's never been an end of dungeon and a raid dragon.
That is true. Of all the draconic people we fought, it has never been the final boss.
They're pretty early, right?
Yeah, I feel like all the ones we faced have been low card bosses. I think, honestly, Vexiona is the only mid card raid boss we faced that's been a dragon.
Is at least the fifth boss you fight in there. So that's the highest level. I feel like they left dragons are bad guys back in like Kata. Kata had a lot of dragons you fought.
It's going to be kind of exciting because like we're going to have that feeling of like, you know, like how like Onyxia is like a dragon that's like a hard fight.
I just hope there's, and you know what I say? I hope there's more mechanics, and they always deliver on more mechanics. But I hope there's more than just like, watch out for my breath and watch out for my tail. The fact that those are present in every dragon fight is like, whatever.
Here we go. We know what she does. Hurricane Wing summons a massive gust of wind, doing damage and pushing you away. Electrified Jaws. She bites you with electricity. She charges her body up. She calls out lightning on you. She has lightning breath, which I'm glad she yeah, right, it has to. She does a dot, it looks like, that has electricity cling to you for the healers to manage.
So, I guess I'll say this. Do we know of any of the other bosses in this raid? Anyone that, I hate to say it, that I might know? Or is this a big wool deer, like a bunch of new goofballs that you're gonna go kill?
It is a bunch of new goofballs. There is one person in here who we haven't seen, but the name may be a little familiar to you. The surname. We have Kurog Grim Totem.
Ooh.
This bitch Magatha's she sent some fucking people into this place. It says Kurog Grim Totem, master of the primal elements, prepares to unleash his most devastating creations. Unless stopped, these creatures of storm, fire, ice, and earth will wreak havoc across the world of Azeroth.
This motherfucking Magatha, right? She just learned about this place last week, and she's already sending her boys out here to cause trouble.
Okay, it seems to me like this is the typical like first raid of the expansion where the theme of the raid is tied a lot into the questing experience maybe that we'll see when we're like leveling through Dragonflight.
Yeah, they said as much, that this is what the Azure Span. You see a lot of these bad guys here. So this is directly like the baddies of the Azure Span have a big, scary plot that they're ready to do.
There's not many photos, but there is a photo of Kurog Grim Totem that I dropped into host chat. And this motherfucker is quite the shade of light blue and lilac.
Oh my
right?
god, this is like a Shah Tauren. This dude's wild. If Magatha is still his boss, I would be surprised. This guy looks like he could crush her in an instant.
I was going to say, well, we don't know. Maybe he's her boss.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know a lot about the Grim Totems or how long this dude has been here. Maybe he's like... Oh.
Maybe he's just be like, listen, it's a common last name. It's like the Smith of the Primalists.
I have nothing to do with that Tauren clan. Now, I know I look like I'm a Tauren, but I'm actually a spooky spike monster. We just look very similar. Have you seen my dog? Unrelated. Just needed to ask.
I would love if somehow Magatha is still his boss, and he has to, like, respond to her, like, okay, I'm coming. I have another picture of a raid boss here, Aaron, that I would like you to look at. Amune's making a stink face at it. Check out Taros, the primalist-shaped Taros from the Earth itself, creating a brutal force of destruction. That's really it.
So this looks like an angry tree, and not only is it an angry tree, it's very dissipy to me, and I don't know how I feel about that.
It looks like I think it looks gross. I think it almost looks like a hand that is like formed out of bark that was like pulled out of the ground, but then also it's glowing like a little bit of the sepia, as you said.
Very weird. I don't know if I like it.
All I'm going to say, knowing only 3 bosses in here, one is a dragon, one's a weird withered Tauren, and the other is this tree man, I'm hoping we get variants. That's all I'm asking for. Because very much Shadowlands and Dissippi, they had raids where it's like, hey, everything is going to kind of look like everything else.
Okay, well, let's get your opinion on the other picture we have of Aranog, who may be the first boss, judging by the order it's placed in. Look at this dude. He's a big, like, fire elemental, looking like Ragnaros when he comes out of the pool.
Yeah, he's made out of brimstone and fire. He's very much Magma World. Also,
Did somebody say Magma World?
also, I have no frame of reference on the size, but for some reason he looks small. So I hope we get a guy who's only like 8 feet tall that we have to fight. That's fun when they do that.
I was thinking the same thing, but then you know what? Looking at Taros again, this boss may be a nippler. Its lower body is really weird.
It depends on the platform, but it definitely does. Its lower body just extends past the frame. So this could be a nippler, if not at least a proto-nippler.
Proto-nippler. We need more proto-nipplers.
You know, if there's one place to get it, maybe it's here. Or maybe we'll get some primal nipplers.
This is the first time in history that we've been actively waiting for nipplers. And it's like, if they don't give us any, it just feels like time wasted. What are you guys doing?
The last boss I want to highlight, there's no picture, but it sounds interesting. It's Senarth, the Cold Breath. I guess the boss begins the fight by attacking with frost and web as spiderlings stream in. After a brief delay, she repels up her spider web as players attempt to keep up. Stage 1 is called Ice Climbers.
Oh no. I'm having like war flashbacks to Spider Boss in Legion, right? The Elioth, is that her name?
God, it was something. She had 2 names. Yeah, it was the druid that turned into a spider and a bird.
Yeah, dude, this is gonna kick our guild's ass. There's a dot called Permafrost, and if you're not on the upper platform, then you suffer frost damage every 1 second, and it stacks. So you're just gonna die if you're not fast enough to get to the top of her little platform.
Well, maybe we can have like our entire raid of Drakthir carry people up there.
Oh yeah, the Drakthir can do that now. They can carry people. That was last of my raid highlights. I just wanted to cover that stuff.
So this sounds like an interesting theme for a raid. It seems primalist themed, and it seems like all of the bosses in one way or another are connected to some sort of one of the forces of the primal elements. We've seen a fire one, we've seen some frost ones, the final boss is like thunder. I'm excited for it. It seems cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is very tempting. If I don't like the playstyle of Evoker, I think that Shaman might be on the table for me. I usually like to be thematic.
I was just about to say, just to stay thematic with the expansion.
I think it'd be so cool being a shaman and coming through this very obviously like elemental filled area.
Would you be an elemental or an enhancement?
I don't know. I was doing enhancement on Gum-Gums on my Horde. I've been messing around with elemental in Shadowlands as Alliance, and I like them both. They both play pretty fun. I feel like the Avatar throwing shit like crazy, so who knows? Okay, what do you guys think? What's your next topic? What are we talking about?
Okay, well, I'm just going to throw it out there. The next thing I see on Wowhead is they've also, I mean, because it's alpha, we have like official Dragonflight maps of the Dragon Isles, and there are a few other maps that were thrown in too. Have you guys seen these yet, or should I share them to host chat?
So the main thing I've seen is the main map of Dragonflight, the Dragon Isles, and it's the one you just posted, and it's very. They did a Legion on us again. The man in the pickle suit tricked me again. They called it the Dragon Isles. It looks about 90% of what you will be doing is one island. But there are other side islands, so it does categorically count as the Dragon Isles.
Yeah, hey, if you look at the middle, there's a lot of pieces that technically don't touch
true.
each other.
They are islands. They're connected by a 6-foot rickety wood bridge, but they are islands.
It's the loosest definition of islands you could have. Wait, is an isle different than an island? Or is isle just multiple islands?
Well, an isle is at the grocery store. And I don't see any islands there, so checkmate.
Okay, so I've Googled this question, and it says, the main difference between an isle and an island is that the isle is an archaic form of referring to land surrounded by the sea, while the island is a standard form referring to the same. So yes, they're geographically the same, but isle is more dated, I guess, a little older. So like for fantasy games, that's probably why.
Oh, I thought it was going to be a fun, like, no, you see, if there's 6 feet of water in a rickety bridge, it's an isle. The zoom in of the maps it blows up way larger than I thought it would be. Because looking at this first map, I'm like, okay, the Aran Plains. How am I going to say these words? They gave me too many words that I cannot say. Valdrassus, Anharan Plains,
Shore,
Waking Shores,
Reach. I can't understand these.
But the map blows up and it looks way larger than I expected it to look like. So that's cool. So the raid's going to be in Thaldraszus, judging by all the lava and the big, large building to the right side.
Which is interesting, too, because that's the zone that has the major city hub, right?
Oh, it could be the Waking Shores. There's another big building. Lots of big buildings. Curious. I've heard from people who have played this already that they say that it feels very much like Wrath of the Lich King. And not in, like, the gameplay, but just, like, how the maps kind of work and how they look on the overview. And one of the zones is even, like, almost Grizzly Hills-esque.
Yeah, I've heard that too, and I've heard that, like, beyond just kind of vaguely thematically and aesthetically, like, being reminiscent of Northrend, the way that it's set up, people say that it's more expansive and larger than other zones that we've seen, and this may be because they're built with dragon riding in mind, which we've also, like, before the alpha came out, there's even been some clips, like some additional clips of what dragon riding looks and feels like, and I don't know, it looks like there's more exciting flying to me. I don't know if it's faster than normal flying, but...
So, the whole thing is it's just flying, but you all have a common mount, but that mount is customizable. So, correct?
I think it's a little more than flying. There's, like... It seems like the way that the camera works, it just seems like it's like a really updated version of flying, but I guess with barrel rolls.
Yeah, and like dives and flips and things.
Are these moves you can trigger, do we think? Or is it just like when the flower gathering robot does a aileron roll and we're all like, neat?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it seems to me like it was triggered, but who knows?
Yeah, I think that there's like buttons you can press while you do it. So I'm hoping looking at the video, I think it'll be less like, those shitty World Quest games and more like awesome, fast fly, cool, this is dope fly.
That seems to have been their goal, at least.
I'm just hoping, and this is just coming from a guy who unfortunately spent a lot of time in Outland, anytime that they make a zone and they're like, flying is there immediately, or like it's a big thing, they have a penchant for just filling the empty space with nothing. I'm hoping we get a lot of interesting stuff, and also flying is a way to access interesting stuff. I don't want it to be like, well, you'll always be in the air, so the ground doesn't matter that much.
Well, I think it is, because I don't think you can regular fly in Dragonflight, right? You can only fun fly?
Fun fly, yeah. You can only dragon ride, I believe.
So I think they made... I could see them making some like really cool tunnels to do barrel rolls in. Okay, so this is just pretty brief. We know that where the tier tokens are going for the evokers, which group they're joining. What do you guys think? Which team are they joining?
As in, like, which of the Dragonflights?
So, like, in Raid, how there's, like, Mage, Druid, Hunter tier, like, it's one tier.
Oh.
Which tier set are the evokers joining?
Wait, are those sets always the same in each expansion?
Yep, Paladin, Priest, other one, Mage, Druid, Hunter. Then is it the gross ones? Demon Hunter, Death Knight, Warlock?
I didn't know that those were set, like, prior to Decepti. I thought that was just something they categorized for that, so I have no idea.
Yeah, because I remember back in WoD, me and Immune were able to trade tier sets, because I was on my Paladin and you were on your Priest, and we were able to swap sets, but you were alone on your island. So they're joining, which the Zenith, Also, they've had names for a while. You guys probably didn't know that either.
Wait, what? The armor, the groups have different names? What are they?
Yeah. So right now we're in Mystic. Druid, Hunter, Mage is Mystic. The Venerated is Paladin, Priest, and Shaman. Dreadful, the Gross Boys, are the Death Knights, the Demon Hunters, and the Warlocks. And the Zenith are Monk, Rogue, Warrior, basically the rest of them, and Evoker. So this is interesting. Because they basically are like, oh, we'll put Evoker in that one. In the mostly leather group, I guess. But
that group also strikes me as just casual people. Like, Evokers are special, monks are kind of special, but rogues and warriors are just schlubs. They're not even magic or cool. They're just people.
Well, it also seems like, in general, these groups are divided so that it's kind of evenly distributive of armor class, if you look at it.
Between mail, leather, cloth, plate.
I was going to say it's weird that they didn't put them in Mystic with Druid, but then I'm like, well, the Druids have a lot. There's 4 specs. So naturally, there's a fuck ton of Druids. So I guess you don't really need to, right? Monk, Rogue, and Warrior kind of fluctuates, I feel like. Those 3 kind of either are really good sometimes or they're really bad sometimes. So they're probably just giving that one's a boost. But what is interesting is that now they've confirmed that group loot is coming back. Not Master Looter. I repeat, Master Looter is not coming back.
Which is funny because WoW had literally clickbait thumbnailed everyone by putting a picture of Master Loot as their thumbnail.
Real shady press marketing there from Squishy, I'm sure.
Naturally, it's gotta be Squishy.
It actually was. I checked it to see. Because the comments in that one were really high. Because everyone's like, nice picture. What is this picture, huh? I'm like, get him.
Fuck Squishy.
But so group loot is back. Which means, if I remember correctly, my memory's very shady on this. Shaky. And also kind of shady. So loot will drop, and everyone will see that loot, and we can roll on it. Instead of you getting it personally, it will just appear in front of you if you can roll on it. Right?
I took it as a different way. I said I interpreted the post as meaning that anyone can just trade anything without any restrictions.
I think you have to roll on it to get it. I'm pretty sure. Group loot isn't master loot, in which drops are directly controlled. Okay, we know what master loot is. What's group loot? Ian has a big long post about it, but he doesn't specify. I'm pretty sure you have to roll to win group loot.
Wait, so rolling is now embedded in the game?
Well, it used to be. I mean, like, remember, like, Need and Greed, that was just roll 100.
Well, I guess that is roll 100, but it was a secret roll 100. But now the game's just like, put a number in.
I think it'll just be a button. Here we go. Ian says, moving away from personal to a shared pool of loot where you kill a raid boss, you work together with 15 or 20 or 30 people to do it. We get it. There's 5 items on the corpse, and you can roll for those items. You can pass on them, and you can trade them to your friends. That's a world we think we want to be in again. So I think, so we're going to have the rolly thing.
So you're saying that the 3 of us could secretly all agree to roll on something and then trade it amongst ourselves.
We could, but this is where it gets interesting with the Zenith having 4 people in it. Before, with personal loot, you want to have as many people of your tier set as possible so you can trade. You actually want to have less people of your tier token set. That way you have the higher chance to roll on it. Say that we have 0 Warlocks, 0 Death Knights, and 0 Demon Hunters. Those tier tokens could still drop, and nobody could use them.
Oh yeah, and we know that 2 of them would drop if that was the case.
So wait, you 2 are in my tier thing, right?
Currently, yes. I mean, we don't know what we're all going to be raiding with. But...
Shit, those BM stats did look pretty bad. And I mean, Druid? Come on, really? Do you want to be seen as one of those? I think you guys need to switch. Rub's tier thing. Rub's
that's the name of the game.
Secret special item, so you guys can't use it.
So, that's gonna suck ass if we're all evokers. We're all competing with each other, and then there's still the rogues, warriors, and monks to deal with.
I think, and I love our guild very much, I think it's a bunch of motherfuckers who will be too upset to play lizard people.
You're right, though.
There might be evokers starting out. I don't know if that'll exist into the 2 months until the raid tier. Too many people are going to be like, I do love my human monk too much.
Yeah, we have a lot of people who just, like, really are, like, one main kind of people. They really only play one thing. So who knows? Maybe I'll be the only evoker in raid.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think I will be maining one. I'm going to level one and see if I like it, but I probably will be raiding with either my hunter or my priest, depending on what we need.
Why don't you try a warlock?
Yeah, come on. They're all the rage right now.
Get out of my fucking tier loot.
I don't really know if, like, it'll be as big of a problem as you're saying, but it'll be interesting to see how it's implemented. So, based on reading what Ian said, it effectively is the return of the need, greed. What was the third one? And then pass? No, there are 4, right?
No, it was need, greed, pass. Yeah, because it was like coin, dice, and X. So I guess we've just eliminated greed. It's just need or pass.
Also, I think you're wrong. It is going to be as bad as I'm saying it is, because that's how it used to be. It used to be like this, and it used to be bad. That's what people in the comments are saying too. They're like, which I will say the comments are not a place to be looking at, but they're right. Personal loot is not better, but it gives you the chance to get your gear instead of having to constantly have bad rolls against other people who you're competing with. It's possible you're going to get shafted constantly with losing rolls to people who got it, and then you don't get anything, you know?
Yeah, but every week that you lose it, your chances go up next time to get it.
Next time? You want me to wait like 4 weeks to get my... And if 5 pieces drop, it could drop loot that we don't even need. So the loot pool is even more, filled with shit. It's overburdened with stuff. And our comps are normally actually pretty bad, I would say. We either like class stack like 2 classes and have like 1 or 2 other varieties.
Mm-hmm.
But like we don't have we had no demon hunter. We had no monks, right? Do you have any monks?
We had Jamunky and we had Myth Monk, but 2.
We had no warrior until Hot Boy joined and then left.
Well, no,
so,
we had because we had what's his face 2. You're just forgetting tanks.
Tanks don't count. They're not real people.
You hear that, Mini? There's a good reason you're Mini, because you're less of a person.
But also, with how well received the Creation Catalyst was and being able to turn Mythic Plus gear into tier, I assume they would have that carry on as well.
Mythic Plus gear? Who does that? It's all about getting your gear in raid and nowhere else. What do you mean?
Okay, calm down, our whole raid team.
Did you see all of the new cool customization options that are coming to World of Warcraft's 9th expansion, Dragonflight?
I saw some, yeah.
It's mainly the Evoker ones, right? I mean, the Drakthir ones, yeah?
Yes, there are 10 zillion million Drakthir ones. Too much, in my opinion.
I saw a bunch of memes that were like, streamers being like, sorry guys, this stream is literally just going to be me customizing my Drakthir just because of like how many fucking options they have, which like good. I always love that.
It is WWE 2K11 levels of like, sorry guys, we are only making our CAWs this sleepover. You will not be seeing anything else tonight.
Which is good. I mean, more character customization is always better in my book, and I hope that like some of the things that they've included will eventually be translated to some of the other races as well, because they can like customize like their undergarments even, which I feel like is something that a lot of the other races probably would want as well.
Yeah, and a lot of it is not even specifically just Drakthir based. It's like instead of a thong, us body 2s can wear boy shorts now. I'm sorry, body 1 shorts now. And it's like, well, yeah, that's just like something that every race should be able to do.
So we also haven't fully explained that, even though we've referenced it a few times. So far on the alpha, they've removed the like how it's designated as like gender male or female, and now it's just like body type 1 or 2.
So this is my only thing, is that while it is still a duality of body type 1 and 2, it doesn't feel good. I feel like we need to get another option so that, like, larger or muscular feminine bodies or thinner masculine bodies, while it's still just body 1, body 2, it feels rough. It still feels like it's just, in my opinion, a cop-out for male, female.
Yeah, and I've seen it in other games where you can create like a fantasy character where it's not broken into like traditional gender. It's more so of just like a slider along all the different aspects of the genders, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it should be less body 1, body 2, and just be like body, period, and then you can adjust certain elements, which I hate to say, a lot of times when people have been like, hey, can you do something big like that? Ian will slap back like, well, do you want us to lose patch 10.1? We can do it, but we'll have less story content. And it's like, well...
Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, it's a big lift, like, behind the scenes. Who knows?
I don't know. It's just, that's my thoughts on it. But for those who it does impact, I do appreciate that they have done away with the gender binary.
Yeah, and there's some data mine pronouns in the files, and there also was some data mine possibility of being able to assign a voice. So say that you have a body 1 person, which is a masculine presenting character. You can give that character a feminine voice. It's not like set in stone yet, but that's what people are theorizing is where it's going way later down the road. And that's cool. Why the hell not? Why lock me in? Make it like fucking Monster Hunter. Let's go.
Yeah, and that's one of the games where I would say literally it took me like 2 hours to create my character.
That's more time than you played it.
No, you're not wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, the Monster Hunter character creator, for such a game where character, story, literally nothing but pure gameplay matters, they give you a very vast and very fair character creator. You can look like anyone and be anything in that game.
Okay, I will say some of the customization options I don't like.
So I guess with Drakthir, I will say this. Are we talking about their elfish forms or their lizard forms?
I'm currently talking about their half-elfish form.
So I'm just going to open with this. Do they seem weirdly long? Is this night elf proportions? I'm looking at this picture you've posted here.
No, I don't think so.
And I don't know if it's just because of a lack of hair. Their arms and their legs seem too big.
It seems like it's a male blood elves, but like elongated. You know what it really reminds me of? Those proto models we had for proto humans and proto elves. They were this awkwardly like gangly and long, like in first version of World of Warcraft. So is it a callback? Maybe, but they look weird as hell naked. Let me tell you that.
Also, their heads look really small in comparison to the rest of them.
The one thing that I really... Are you guys going to be putting those dragon scales on your scalp and putting hair over it? Because if I can avoid it, I am definitely not doing that. It looks like they have a bad case of psoriasis on their head.
I will say this. I am opting for my Drakthir when I do make them to make the ugliest looking character I can, because that's always sort of my MO. So probably, but also I know where you're coming from. I saw someone post today where it was like they just utilized all the customization options, and it was like, I hate to say, a real mess of a head. And I was just like, I get why someone would do this ironically, but like, this is real rough.
But everything else, I think it's awesome. I mean, like, they have some of the most modern hairstyles. Like they have the hair that my guy wears in my wrestling game. They have my wrestling hairdo.
There are some hairstyles that I wish that I could use on some of my other characters. They're so cool.
They also get like infinite everything else. There's like 7 horn jewelries. There's different eyebrows and like eye scales, eye horns. It's just a lot. It is iCarly 2 without Jeanette McCurdy because she needs her rest. It's like you said earlier, Immune. Like, they've done a whole bunch, and I hate to say it, all it makes me think is, okay, when's that coming to everyone else, huh?
I know, because like some of these features are amazing. Like these hairstyles, really cool. The fact that you can add in addition to those hair that I think are really cool, you can add highlights, you can add like specific hair decorations to make them look cooler even. And yeah, they just have so many different customization options that I'm like, this has to be their end goal for some of the other races, right?
I certainly hope so. Like, because they could really do a lot with this. But, I mean, we know it takes a long time to get this shit done, like, to get spread across. But if we can get, like, the body 1 and body 2 for everybody, too, so fucking good. They were saying there's, like, what did they say? It was, like, millions of combinations you can make or whatever, or something like that. I mean,
it was something like
900,000,
which is like, fucking what?
Also, you can customize the features of your elven form and your Drakthir form separately. So you don't have to have the same horns on your humanoid form that you have on your Drakthir form. So that's cool. Like, before it was, like, very one-to-one and annoying. And so, like, I don't know. You could have bigger horns on your human form than your dragon form.
Which is kind of funny. And I know, Slide, you shit on the, like, head scales, but I think some of the body scale options are pretty cool, though. Because I feel like there's definitely some Mogs where I feel like having a little bit of body scale showing would, like, look good with it.
Oh, yeah. So some of the body scales look great. And it also kind of helps to hide the weird elongation. Oh, those stripes look cool. And the internet, the WoW community has been clamoring that they want thicker bodies. I mean, I agree. I think we do get thicker. We need thicker bodies. They have 4 different bodies that you can pick through, and they look pretty similar to me. I mean, I haven't seen it in game, so I don't really know. Like, I would say comparison. I don't know. Just give us some, like, I want like a Borealis-sized Drakthir man.
Yeah, I don't want to be so rude, so blunt. I want big fatties. I want a big fat version of my character, please. A big, thick character.
So in addition to the customizations that have been added for the Drakthir, it seems in the alpha that they've also included options for choosing pronouns at some point. So whether or not you want to designate yourself as like he, him, she, her, they, them, and as Slide said, voice as well. And this apparently is set to change the way that NPCs address you. So instead of Magni saying like he does this or that, like they would just be like our champion instead of like doing either a male or female pronoun if you choose they,
weren't
them.
they already doing that though?
Which makes me feel like it won't be that hard of a lift for them to do it, but I do know that at some points they have referred to our champion characters either as him or her, so depending on what gender you've chosen at this point for your character.
Basically, they just ask because they're going to have the they option, and then I feel like they can maybe just start using our pronouns / our names. Even our names. Like, you know what I mean? How hard is that to throw our name into the mix?
Yeah, the big thing is I'm almost looking at the opposite. I'm glad that we're getting pronoun options because it always felt really clunky for them to refer to us as, like, grand title. And it's just, like, I feel like that would not mesh normally in conversation. Just call us by the preferred pronoun, whether it be he, she, them, whatever. It just flows better than, like, I was talking with the Mall Walker. I was talking with the general of the 4th War Army.
My homie. Wait, crap, what is that guy's name? The guy in Borealis? The big Borealis guy who always said the wars he fought in?
My main man, Cyrus
something, yeah. I love that man.
I'm glad you remembered his name, Aaron, because I forgot.
He would never misgender a fly, let me tell you that.
He is the ultimate marshmallow. He is so patient with everyone. He would never fuck anything up.
I think it's awesome, though. Like, I hope that comes in sooner rather than later. The data mining seems really raw, so, like, it's just, like, an idea right now, it seems like. But hopefully they can expound upon it. I was also reading that this is one of their, fingers crossed, is going to be one of their mostly tested expansions. I guess Ian was saying normally when they launch an expansion, there's less development time, or less time in the public's hands, because they have to get the zones ready and they have to find the right ones they want them to be in. I guess they changed how they worked for this one, and they worked harder to finish a certain zone, which was the Azure Span, to give people more testing time. And I guess the timeline is like, we have so much alpha time compared to past expansions. So fingers are crossed. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah, and I do think that this all lines up with everything we've talked about it so far, including the fact that maybe they've shifted a lot of their resources off of Shadowlands and onto Dragonflight before we even knew it. So,
he said that Dragonflight has been in development since before Shadowlands launched. So like concurrently, I guess. So that's something.
That also soft confirms everyone's conspiracy theory of Team 1, Team 2.
But by this point, I've lost track of which team is which now because everyone.
I can't remember which one was air quotes the good one because every subsequent expansion has been the worst thing that's ever come, and every expansion that happened 2 expansions ago was, really not that bad.
Don't you know WoW's gonna die soon? Come on, guys.
Pretty much. It's
clearly coming.
It's been a dead man walking for, 12 years at this point?
18?
Also, I will say, another thing that I feel like contributes to it being the most tested is WoW used to be like, we're gonna hide some things from you guys, to really get the surprise. And I feel like more and more with the advancement of technology and people snitching online, it's like, okay, just... community people come in, everyone test our stuff. We don't care if nothing's a surprise anymore because it wasn't gonna be. Like everything already got leaked anyway, so just come in and make sure the stuff works before we unveil it.
And strangely enough, they still did have it be a surprise when the expansion itself was announced. So that was the big surprise now, and that was a pretty big surprise, and we all did love that.
I like surprises, much like our next surprise is 2 of the dungeons that are coming as Mythic Plus dungeons in Dragonflight.
Ooh.
We got Temple of the Jade Serpent from Mop and Court of Stars. Oh no!
Okay, so guys, give me a refresher on which one Jade Serpent Temple is. Which one of the Pandaria ones is that?
Wise Mari is in the beginning. And then the rest of it is
a blur. So, yes, hey everyone, I'm getting married to Cubby Bub, aka Pandaria expert extraordinaire here. Temple of the Jade Serpent, you go to the Jade Temple, you fight Wise Mari, you fight the history of Pandaria, which has always been a goofball boss. I'm going to be very excited to see that in Mythic Plus. And then Corrupted Yu'lon, and it ends with the Shaw of Anger.
Okay, so...
it's very small, it's very quick, it's going to rival Miss as, the when do 4 mythics in a week comes up, you're really going to want to do Jade Temple.
So this is the one where you start in a courtyard, and then you go left, and then go down to, the water?
You go left, you go down to the water, fight Wise Mari, come back out, and you go the other direction, and that'll take you around long ways the temple to fight Corrupted Yu'lon. I'm sorry, there's a woman that Yu'lon's in, but I don't care about her. Yu'lon is inside, and she's the main boss.
I love this. I love the comments on this, because it's actually people hating this. I've been against this since day 1, and it hasn't changed. I'm paying to play Dragonflight content, not content from 10 years ago or even 6 years.
Wait, wasn't this coming in Season 4?
Oh, don't worry. Kant says, worst idea. Doing this Season 4 is fun. Doing this the whole expansion is gonna be lame. Just add more dungeons like you did in Legion. Which is so funny, because what have we heard time and time again? We want to do old content. We want to do old stuff.
And I hate to say, the dungeons they did add in Legion were nothing. Other than this podcast, other than this cadre of 3 people, I have never heard anyone talk about Seat of the Triumvirate or Cathedral of Night.
Wait, and also, isn't Court of Stars one of the ones that they added late into an expansion?
And the Arcway.
So, the way that I see it is, I think we're getting Arcway. They're doing the dungeons that came later. The dungeons that got less playtime, which unfortunately means Seat of the Triumvirate and the other one.
I would love to go back to Seat of the Triumvirate, because I just know literally nothing about it other than you go into a building, cross an alley, and you fight my mom.
Also, so with the Temple of the Jade Serpent being added to Mythic Plus rotation at some point during Dragonflight, they didn't specify when. But they did say that we're like at any season of Dragonflight, we're having 4 Dragonflight dungeons plus 4 old rotating dungeons, which I think is a good change. But anyways, Temple of the Jade Serpent is the first one from before Draenor that's being added to Mythic Plus, right? Which we did think that MOP ones would be able to do this, and that would be the first expansion that would be able to do this realistically.
Yes, that's all correct, except we do know when it's coming. It's coming season 1. So they're dropping in the beginning, but right at the beginning of season 1, we're getting these 2 dungeons, plus 4 of the Dragonflight dungeons, and then 2 more mystery ones that are coming still. I like that we're getting MOP dungeons, because our experience in MOP dungeons is things die in 2 seconds. There's no mechanics. I couldn't tell you what any of the bosses do other than Wise Mari's stupid bubble beam blast.
Yeah, I only know those dungeons as Time Walkers or as dungeon queue leveling when they didn't feel strong at all, so they were never an issue. So it will be nice to see these dungeons in like a light of somewhat of what they were intended to be played as, maybe, and honestly maybe even harder than then because of the scaling of Mythic Plus.
Well, Quarter Stars has seen Mythic Plus, right? That's one people have done on high keys already. But, like, as much as I say that, like, it's going to be annoying, and it is going to be annoying, I am excited to do Court of Stars. Just because the nostalgic for doing one of those dungeons that I've done before, I'm going to have knowledge of a dungeon, guys. I'm going to be that old guy
100%.
ready to go.
It's going to feel very good for the first, like, week or 2 weeks to lord it over people's heads who never did Court of Stars. And they're like, I'm in this huge courtyard with 4 bosses. What do I do? And it's like, look at your mini-map, Junior. Do you see, like, demonic evoker? Oh, we're going to need to track those guys down.
And, okay.
Yeah, long gloves, full cape, no shirt. I'm an expert at this one.
My real question is, though, I mean, like, I don't know that I ever did this when it was in the actual Mythic Plus rotation during this expansion in Shadowlands, but are we going to have to do Mythic Plus ride the boat into the Court of Stars? Is that part of the timer?
Yes.
I think it is. I
Yes,
think it is.
I
Don't
am.
fuck up.
That is part of the dungeon, so I'm going to assume the little pedestal will be in front of the boat, and you will need to make sure you don't fuck up getting on the boat to the rest of Court of Stars.
So Ian did give a humongous paragraph to explain their thought processes about this. It's a lot of gamer talk, but at the very end, he says, "We're really hopeful and excited about the structure. Obviously, whether we stick with this structure, whether it becomes the future of Mythic Plus, that's going to depend on how it plays out and what we hear from the community. And as always, we'll be listening and trying to refine blah, 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 blah." Well, if you read these comments, you won't be doing this anymore. But I think it'll be well received because I get what they're going for. It can be a little stale doing the same 8 dungeons every single Mythic Plus season. I feel like I never want to walk into Sanguine Depths ever again because I've done it so many times and I failed on it so many times. So maybe this would, be something good.
I'm a big fan of any competitive or top-end portion of a game rotating in and out their maps, honestly. I know that, like, Overwatch competitive season does it, and it's refreshing, like, every season to, like, have a few new maps that you haven't seen in a while come back.
Yeah, I very much dig this. So what do you guys think? What are the 2 other Season 1 dungeons gonna be? What are we gonna get?
Okay, we have a MOP representation. We have a Legion representation. Maybe we will get a Draenor and a BFA representation?
I am going to say, so if they don't include the ones that they already have for Season 4, I'm crossing my little feathery fingers again for Skyreach. And then I feel like they're going to drop the ball on BFA. It's going to be the mother load.
I think we're going to get Toldagor. I think it's going to be Toldagor, and I'm going to say Skyreach just to give good juju out into the world and give it to us.
It'll probably be a Draenor one that wasn't voted into Season 4. Maybe whichever one got third place.
Skyreach, because Skyreach was then that's not that, because it got like 7th.
Yeah, because like the system, because Mechagon is already coming in Season 4. They wouldn't repeat that. So yeah, there's not really any new ones to add, right? So man, Aaron, if it is Motherlode, Aaron, I'm gonna be so fucking pissed.
I'm gonna be mad.
Even...
I'm gonna be mad just because Apollo gave me the gift of clairvoyance, of future sight. I'm still gonna be upset if that's it. Honestly, if it's any of the Horde ones other than a Taldazar, that is the one Horde one I can tolerate.
What if it's Waycrest Manor? I would love if it's Waycrest Manor.
Same. I love every Alliance one.
When did we do Waycrest Manor recently? Was it like a time walking event, or I swear we did it somewhat recently?
I don't think we did.
It hasn't been time walked as of yet. Maybe like on an alt.
Yeah, maybe you were leveling something because it hasn't been anything. It's been dead since BFA died. Were you thinking of like Legion time walking? Maybe when they had like the Mythic Plus keys and we didn't do we did Blackrock Hold. Are you thinking Blackrock Hold maybe?
Maybe. I mean, I know exactly what Waycrest Manor is. Maybe I just ran it recently on an alt, or because there hasn't been BFA time walking, right? So
No.
So like, what are you doing? Why are you running Waycrest Manor? What have you been doing?
I mean, maybe just for the love of the game. It was a pretty original. It was. If any viewers saw my ranking of BFA bosses before I had to private it because I'm trying to apply for a new job and I didn't want them seeing me do curse words. A lot of the Waycrest Manor bosses were very high up in the rankings.
Nothing like having Sister Malady fuck you up with Ruinous Bolt. Fuck her and that little ball beam.
Rav the Ruinous just absolutely ruining your day.
Is that the pig guy?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, his name is Rav the Gluttonous.
I'm so excited. I don't know. Here's a little lesser bit that's kind of lame. So for a while, the mount and toy and pet collections haven't had a new achievement and a new mount/toy reward in a while. So they've added a 500 mount award. It's just
the last one was in MOP, right?
Was it really MOP? I don't really know when the last one was. What's the last one is no, it wasn't MOP. I think there's an Infernal Shardling core, which is like do you know the mount that you get from Gul'dan? That big demon that you can like ride on its back?
Yeah.
It's a blue, I think 400 is a blue version of that.
Legion?
I think so, But I don't know. Oh, that's a pet. I don't care about pets. Fuck that. All right. Okay, so I'm going to post the mount in our host chat and get first reactions here. Ba-da-bum. It's just a minion of Grumpus. It's just a Christmas Grumpus guy.
I thought that was just something you could get out in the world, like via a Paragon box. That's unfortunate.
I do think it's cool, though. I mean, I don't know that I'm close to getting this, but I think it's cool.
And once again, different colors are different. People will see that and be like, "Oh, you're cool." I have a version of this, the Crag Leaper that I just got from Islands. So it's like, well, I have something that kind of looks like this, unfortunately. Well, don't worry, us of literally last night. Once again, mere minutes after recording, a blue post came out from Blizzard. They are removing the Yeti as the 500 mounts. They state, "Yep, we agree. The Yeti will be changed to a different mount, not a Yeti, in the future alpha build, though not necessarily the next one. Feedback like this is always useful, and please take this as a reminder that things you see in alpha builds are subject to change. So don't worry, everyone. Hopefully we get something more interesting and not just a Crag Leaper."
Yeah, so like that's why like I'm really excited to get my 400th mount. I think I'm like at like 370 something, 380 something, because I don't have a Infernal Shardling demon thing. Cause what the only other one is killing Mythic Gul'dan and getting a 1% lucky shot, or doing like Arena back in Legion. I think was the only way I could get that. So that's cool. At 500 toys, you get more glasses, and when you use it, it says something looks fishy. Cooldown is reduced during the March of the Tadpoles. During the holiday.
Is it like the corgi glasses where everyone turns into Murlocs?
It's gotta be.
I think I saw Wowhead post about that, but they did it in Murloc speak, and I was like, that's not cute. I don't know what you're talking about, not clicking your link.
I don't speak your language. Now, with all that news out of the way, there's not even we barely even scratched the news surface, I feel like, especially by the time Monday rolls around.
Yeah, there's a lot that we didn't even talk about. We didn't even talk about anything about the Evokers and all of their, spells and animations that have been released, too. But we can pick this up next week.
We got plenty of time on our hands, because this show ain't going fucking nowhere. And now it's time for TTBBMM. Immune, start us off this week.
Well, I have a bottom boot, unfortunately.
Oh no, what the fuck? This is a great week. Why you gotta do that?
It is a great week for WoW news, but for me personally on WoW, I'm tired of being accepted to high key groups as a BM hunter because I have good IO and I have a high gear level, and then within a minute kicked, and because I'm not survival, or maybe they would let me stay if I was marks instead. And I'm just like, it's stupid. It's not even it's not like I'm applying for 24s. I'm applying, I was kicked from a 17 for being BM. And I'm like, I guarantee you I would out DPS whatever meta spec is in there right now. It's a 17. It doesn't matter. What the fuck?
Then my favorite part was the person who kicked him had a lower IO than him, had lower completed keys than him, and then by the end of the day, a couple hours later, we went to look up his Raider IO to see if he finished it. He didn't finish it, so they didn't even do that run either.
It's like the same story forever. People who stringently just go based on meta, and this is any game. This is Smash Brothers, World of Warcraft, anything. People who base their entire life on meta, it's are not the people that meta will ever impact. It's you're not going to be doing cool guy enough stuff that the damage difference will make a difference. This is a 17, buddy.
I'm going to tack on my bottom boot just so I can rant a little more about this topic at this segment here. So I got a bottom boot. It's the same thing because Blizzard specifically said, we are not going to make these changes until Season 4. Until Dragonflight. So people can enjoy them if they've already done it. And I'm like, you were literally just letting the meta be Destruction Warlocks, Survival Hunters, Monks. Which monks were not mentioned in this, but they should be because they're the same thing. Those three specs are what everybody's looking for in one way or another. Because the Survival Hunter can hero. So yeah, they want all those specs. And they're just they do so much damage. It's ridiculous. I just don't get why it's allowed. I get they don't want to piss off people because then they're like, well, if everyone's playing a Warlock on a Survival Hunter and we change it, they're going to unsub. I guess from a business standpoint, I guess I get it. But from a player standpoint, getting kicked like that sucks. And I know how that goes. I'm the feral druid going in boomkin form, though boomkins are so bad that boomkins are going in cat form. So shit's just all fucked right now with pugging. That's why I'm glad we have enough people in our guild to be able to have to avoid pugging if we don't have to. But
yeah, I was complaining off pod to Slide about this, and I was like, I know you understand, except maybe it's more heartbreaking for me because they just see a druid and don't invite you because you're either boomkin, which is not good right now, or you're feral, which would never historically be invited. For me, I get instantly invited because they assume that I'm survival, and then I get kicked.
Hey, I used to be there, and then things got worse.
Slidewhistle said, "I used to rule the world."
There was a night
seas would rise when I'd give the word. Okay, Immune.
There was a night where I was like, it's 1 a.m, everyone's asleep. I'm gonna try to pug something. It was an hour and a half of me just clicking join, and just waiting and getting nothing. Eventually, I would start whispering people, be like, "Hey, I'm good. Hey, if you let me in, I'll rub your feet. Hey, if you let me in, I'll do a little dance." I changed my my description to "We'll tell funny jokes if somebody else dies," and I was trying really hard to get in. No one let me in. I was Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. I knocked at each Hotel 6 and they said you can't come in, and I had to go to the manger and take a nap. What about you, Aaron? What's your top two, bottom moot, medium moot?
Yeah, I guess I am the one left. Well, you know what? In order to stave off an entirely negative end of the show here, I'm going to give a medium moot.
Medium.
So last week I was like, in this time before season 4, I'm going to spend my time raising my perfect alliance people. Lies. Because as soon as I saw my residents on Illidan, I was like, I got to get those heritage armors just to never use them. And the latest victim in this crusade was Chucklehead, the Nightborn.
Chucklehead.
Yeah, they're all very insulting names because I hate them all. Chucklehead, the Nightborn Arcane Mage. And for whatever reason, when I started Chucklehead, I was like, you know what? She's going to be in Outland. She's going to be in TBC because I didn't give it a fair shake. Oh my god. That zone sucks. The dungeons all stink. It takes forever to do anything, to get anywhere. Arcane feels like it takes forever. It was the most disgusting dragging of an experience. And I even picked her back up when she was like 35. So I only had to do 15 levels with this woman, and it felt like it took forever. And then I go and I get my magic armor from Thorithra. It's not much. For whatever reason, I thought it would look like Thorithra, but it was just, you look like one of the asshole guards in Suramar, and I was like, sure, great.
You know what's kind of funny? Like, actually, during this last week as well, I had a very similar experience because I leveled my shaman a little bit, and he was also in TBC, and that's why I stopped leveling him for like a year and a half because the questing was just so bad.
It's just boring and dumb and so many things. And I guess I'm a little baby boy, so you can say wah wah, go drink your bottle, go sip on your baba. But like, it'd be like, okay, bring Tharnell Sharntooth to me. And I'd be like, okay. And the quest marker would be on that person. And I'd be like, well, what do I do? It's like, we'll go find him. He's somewhere in the world. I won't tell you where. And then you go find Sharnal, and he's like, hey, what's up? And it's like, come with me? And he was like, nah, you need the Farkle juice. And it's like, what? And then I go look it up online. It's like, Farkle juice was something you can get on the auction house. And I was like, this is not worth a TBC quest that gives me 12 gold and 7 experience. Fuck this.
Sorry, brah. If you want to get into the party, you gotta bring the Farkle juice.
And then and then I go on Ugly Guy. I start my thing on Ugly Guy, who is my Maghar shaman, and I start going to WoD, and it's infinitely better. Like, it's so much better. Why do they even allow you to do TBC when it's disgusting?
You know, I had to download a quest tracker just to help me get through there, just because the quests are like vague too. They like tell you like, they kind of are like, oh, we'll go kind of maybe do this thing in a place. And I'm like, what? Like,
When I finished, I was in Sangremarsh, and one of the quests was explore the lakes. And then I went, there was no marker. There was nothing. And I didn't even do it. I got rid of it because I remembered when I was finishing these things on Growlina, you just go to the bottom of the lakes and you activate a thing that you have to talk to some guy and some other, like in Blade's Edge, to get. And it's like, this is stupid. This is a byproduct for the age where they're like, we ain't got nothing for you, so we're gonna make every quest cryptic and 78 hours long, so that and there's no online resources. It's dumb.
Back in my day, we used to read the cryptic quest text and spend hours deciphering it before doing it.
Back in my day, we'd go to every single NPC and ask about the current quest, just in the off chance they might have something to do with it, and we loved it. But
yeah, I feel your pain though.
The only positive aspect is that it's fucking done, and I'm in Draenor now, and it's so beautiful. Ugly Man is like level 23, and he got that way in like a day. It's great. It's amazing. Ugh. You know who brings a smile to my face and sucks up this tear in my eye from thinking about TBC? It's our patrons. We're talking about Command Sergeant Major Tjurla, fourth host of the podcast, Jamonkey, Ahoy Vince, a.k.a. Nathanos killed himself to see Sylvanas and she won't even pick up the phone, Instinct/Drag Race, Crucifix, Saracen Hawk, Joe DiGiorno Dorno, Gershom the Grill Master, Hoax, asking Growlina to say, for the Horde, Vanderlyle, brand new patron, Azarin, and Will, a.k.a. Tyre, Trade Chat's fallen father.
Ew, Will. And with that, we're out of here. If you haven't subscribed to the Patreon, what do we have? 10 episodes? What is that, like 5 hours?
11.
6 hours?
11, yeah. We have hours of things for you. There's a lot of content, bud. And also some letters that I definitely don't just shit out at 10 a.m. on a Sunday.
There's also some great pizza lore that's been going on there, and there's more coming. Don't you guys worry.
There is a lot of pizza lore. It reminds me every time I log into the Patreon, it's like, you have hashtag subjects. It's just hashtag Slidewhistle, hashtag pizza, hashtag pizza ghost.
You can find that at patreon.com/do not relent. That was hard. Anyway, if you guys want to send us any emails, any questions, we got a question from Vanderlyle. We didn't answer. Vanderlyle, you have my word. We're getting that next week. We haven't had one in so long that I forgot. And when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, we have an email.
Yes,
that's coming next week.
Rest assured, we did freak the fuck out. I am so sorry, Vanderlyle. I am putting my pinky out, and I assume you're putting your pinky through your phone. This is a pinky promise. We will get to it I was about to say tomorrow, but next week.
Yeah, Alpha being released and all this news kind of distracted us. Sorry, Vanderlyle.
This is an honorary Vander section. You can send us an email at donotrelenttpod@gmail.com. What about you guys? Where can we find you guys on the internet? This is unhinged.
I just also want to throw it out there. Join our Discord at donotrelentt.com. But you can find me, Alex, or Immunization on Twitter at New Era Alex. You could follow our podcast Instagram account on the gram at Do Not Relent.
You can find me, Aaron the Human, at the Big Cheesy on Twitter.com. Read the show's literary musings. Maybe I'll make a new one at donotrelent.livejournal.com. And come see me play videograms at twitch.tv/AaronDNR. Remember all those big series I used to do? I'm going to do some more. Fingers crossed.
Twitch. All right. Well, we have trivia to go to. Aaron's going to go take a big fat shit. We'll see you guys next week. And remember,
Another down! Do not relent!
Do Not Relent is a podcast within the 3HNC network, representing U.S. Proudmoore's premier podcasts.
That was a very good wish.
Are you actually going to go take a shit?
legally he has to, yeah.